All right. So, what are benzodope and tranq, and why are this dangerous drugs? So, in the production of fentanyl for street drug dealers, they often cut it with a variety of other chemicals and other drugs. Benzodope, in particular, is cut with etazolum, I believe how it's pronounced, which is a chemical from the benzodiazepines family, hence the name benzodope. This drug is considered more deadly and addictive than a lot of other fentanyl combinations out there. The video that we watched stated that in February of the year the video was released, more than 52% of drug overdoses involve drugs with benzodiazepines in them. So it's a common link between a lot of drug overdoses. The drug dealers in the video even say that the fentanyl they sell, even though it still kills thousands of people a year, is considered a much safer alternative than to those with benzodiazepines in them. Other drugs like xylazine are mixed with fentanyl and also cause a good chunk of deaths each year to overdoses. So basically, in general, whenever there's multiple drugs being used and mixed together in illegal drug dealing, it makes it easier to overdose due to most buyers not knowing what exactly are in the drugs they're buying, or if the drugs they're buying are actually the drugs that they think they're buying. Because a lot of drug dealers often substitute, stuff like fentanyl with other drugs to produce similar effects. And with each drug and each chemical, there's always, a different amount that you can take before it starts becoming lethal. So that's a huge danger. And the other drug discussion video was tranq. Tranq, short for tranquilizers, is when people put tranquilizers in heroin and fentanyl. And other than negative side effects, it causes open wounds in the body. They can get infected, and infection can lead to death. And not only just the open infection, but the sores, the abscess, the pus, and all the stuff that were on those people's bodies in the video, that leads to some people losing fingers, losing toes, losing limbs, losing their arms and stuff. So a lot of these people are losing limbs over these drugs. And other than the overdoses and biological negative side effects, there's a whole other physical aspect of those drugs. Okay, question 2. In terms of drug policy, what is the major lesson we can learn from the information presented in the documentary? So what I learned is when dealing with drugs and banning the distribution and selling of certain drugs, it's much more complicated than to just get rid of the drug and to say it's banned, it's illegal. In the video, it showed that time and time again, whenever one drug goes off the market, another, drug that's just like that drug comes right back in to replace it. Because at the end of the day, people who are selling drugs want to keep making that money, They're not going to stop just because someone says it's illegal. There's always going to find a way to ship something out that's new. And in the video, there was a great example of that when in 2019, China banned fentanyl, and Chinese companies just started shipping out stuff similar to it. And in the video, when that lady, she was texting the Chinese drug dealer, that they even admitted the fentanyl is illegal, but it's the stuff that we're shipping, it's just as popular, just as hot as fentanyl was. So they know, it's very implicit. But they also provide a little bit of a solution in the video to counteracting this possible solution. And that would be to the constantly shifting drug market would be to legalize certain illegal drugs and provide prescriptions for addicts. Because at the end of the day, addicts have, withdrawal, and they're going to want to get that fix. Or at the very least, they need tiny bits of the drug to help them through the rehabilitative process, because going cold turkey is really, really hard. Not a lot of people can do it. And, with legal prescriptions of these drugs, it's a more safe method than, just getting it illegally, because, you'll have a prescription. You'll have how much dosages you should take in a week or a day. You'll know how much you can take without overdosing. And for sure what you're getting is just fentanyl or raw fentanyl. And you're not getting any extra chemicals in there that you don't know about that could lead to a lot of negative side effects and possible death that you don't know about. And another big problem that was in the video with drugs is just, the areas where drug dealing addiction is popular, people who are addicted only have accessibility to these lower end and more dangerous drugs. And they don't really have, much of a say in what's getting produced and what they're buying, other than the fact that they're buying it, And it leads people to getting addicted to more dangerous drugs and overdosing. So creating a version of these drugs that are legal and more controlled, like we said before, is a much better solution to make sure these people aren't ODing all the time and dying. So, yeah.